Welcome back to Words of Ex-Mormon. It has been a little while since I've posted anything. That's because of the holiday season. We had Yule, which was amazing, and it was awesome. We spent the whole day almost with my ex-husband and his family and our kids and my current husband and my sister outlaw, who is my ex-husband's sister, but she has been my best friend since like ninth grade. So we've known each other forever, and I love her so much. And we had friends over. We had so many people, and it was awesome. We jumped over the Yule bonfire and made wishes and burned pine cones, and we made Yule sticks, and we did all kinds of really fun things. I love that my ex-husband, he made homemade mead, and so my husband and my ex-husband, they both drank that and got drunk, and it's kind of adorable because they're both very like chatty, very sweet drunks. And so when they started drinking and they just were like, "Oh, I love you so much." Like, I knew it. My husband, you guys have met him, Ches, anytime he's on medication or under anesthesia or a little loopy or super tired or drunk, he starts telling me how beautiful I am and how much he loves me, and it's super cute. But my ex-husband and my husband were around that Yule fire, and they were just like, "Man, I'm so grateful for you, and I am so grateful that you are in my kids' lives, and I couldn't pick a better dad for my kids, and I couldn't handpick a better stepdad." And it was super adorable. And my 18-year-old son, he came up to me and he put his arm around me and he was like, "Mom, this is my dream come true. This is what I always want. This is my Christmas dream, my Yule wish, and everything." And so I was very happy with that. I think it's the best thing, I mean, it doesn't always happen that quickly, but it's been almost 12 years now, and we've come a long way, and I'm very, very grateful for the family that we have in whatever weird or unusual or a non-traditional way that it presents itself. So, Christmas itself, separate from Yule, was probably the best we've ever had. All my kids agree. We leaned hard into the consumerism. I did that part of it where we just give gifts not because it's expected of us or because we attach some meaning to it or because anybody is selfish or anything like that, but because I enjoy it. I enjoy doing it, and it was fun, and I didn't feel guilty about it. My kids got totally spoiled. They're very grateful kids, though. Like, they are not the kind of spoiled, like, selfish. They're not like Dudley. Last year I had 37. Like, they're grateful, very kind, very sweet kids, and they had so much fun. At a family party, my brother Beej, who is hilarious and amazing and my best friend, he had my name for our family drawing, and he held my gifts hostage in this box with all of these clues and scavenger hunts and puzzles and things that I had to figure out. It took me like 2 hours. There were tools and everything, kind of like our traps we set up for the kids. By the way, if you haven't seen the traps videos, I did post a couple of them. Ches posted them on his TikTok account, and I've shared those. So they're in my shared files. So if you want to go and look at those for the last couple of years, they are super fun. It's kind of like Home Alone for our kids that we set up. It's a family tradition. My kids love it. We didn't do that this year because my kids were with their dad, and so we didn't have them on Christmas morning. So that's not something we have this year, but next year it will be just as epic. Stay tuned for that next year. Ches is already planning. So anyway, but it was funny, and he did this trap for me and everything, and it's just so fun. Like, I just adore the creativity of people, and it was a lot of fun. So yeah, but I am back, and I do have a favor to ask. I would really, really love to make it to 400 followers by the end of this week here on TikTok. If you're on some of my other platforms, I don't have nearly that many. TikTok is more active here than anywhere else. I realize that TikTok is possibly going away. I don't know. I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I'm thinking of things, trying to figure out where to go. If you have a suggestion, if there's a better place that you have found, I am on YouTube. I'm also on Instagram. Those places are not as interactive. I have a personal Facebook page. I have not created a Facebook page for Words of Ex-Mormon. I may do that as well. I don't think there's any threat to Facebook, but it's just not where I kind of wanted to keep all of this. I kind of try to keep my Facebook page a little bit, my Facebook interactions a little bit more personal about my personal life and stuff like that. So it's just a little bit like a weird crossover. Anyway, but I might have to go that route. But if you have suggestions where you're going to be, let me know. I might do that. I've heard Blue Sky is a good place. I haven't created an account yet. I didn't like Twitter in the first place. So since it's a derivative of that, it's kind of, I don't know. We're just going to play it by ear. But, I'd like to reach 400 followers by the end of the week. So I would love if you can help me out with that. Go and like and share and follow and all those things. And we're just going to get started here. So if you've noticed this last week I haven't really posted much, but my last batch of posts, I kind of ended all of my videos with Think Terrestrial. And I did get some commentary, super supportive, cute commentary about it. Somebody on YouTube was like, "Think Terrestrial," she says in this cheery little voice. And, it was cute. They were like, "I love it." And I'm glad that it's being well received because I mean it that way. I'm going to kind of talk about that a little bit today and kind of why I'm doing that. In October 2023, Nelson gave a talk called Think Celestial. I think most people are very, very familiar with it, and you can look it up if you want to. I'm not going to quote it directly or anything because it's a really well-known, really controversial talk. Everybody's talked about it. Everybody knows about it. Mormons have taken this tagline and basically used it to kind of just be pretentious and self-righteous and to justify judgment, exclusion, and polarize families, wards, and communities. And in this talk, he gives anecdotes about how the way we live our lives determine where we will end up after this life, and which kingdom we will end up in, with bodies that will be exalted and progress, or, we'll end up separated from our loved ones with bodies that cannot progress eternally. So there's this joke that kind of gets thrown around here in the Exmo community a little bit where people say, "Think Telestial." The highest level of, so I'm going to explain this a little bit. Mormons, and just in case anybody who's watching this is never Mo, or maybe you've been out of the church for a really long time, you need a refresher, or maybe you just don't know. This is a little partial plan of happiness or plan of salvation lesson here. Mormons believe that when we die, after the second coming and after the millennium, we'll be sorted into one of three kingdoms based on the covenants we made and how we lived our lives. Everyone will be resurrected. Everybody gets to have their body back unless you were one of the third of the hosts of heaven who followed Satan and didn't get a body in the first place. If you ever were born on this earth, regardless of how you lived your life, you still get to be resurrected, but you will be sorted into one of the kingdoms. And the highest is the celestial kingdom. There are supposedly 3 different kingdoms in the celestial kingdom as well, which I am not going to go into today, just the 3 kingdoms in general. To get into the celestial kingdom, you have to be baptized, endowed, and sealed in the LDS church to reach this. Not another church, not any other authority, just the LDS church. You also have to have kept all the commandments perfectly, or at least repented perfectly, in order to qualify, because God cannot abide any sin whatsoever. People who go here will dwell with God and Jesus and be able to be like God, progress eternally, and have posterity, and create their own planets. I mean, wait, the church has redacted that, and now we're saying, even though we've been taught our whole lives that people do not get their own planets after they die, even if they go to the celestial kingdom. So that's not a thing anymore. It's weird. The second level is the terrestrial kingdom. This is the middle kingdom that is most like Earth. The people who go here are those who lived respectable, virtuous lives, so, good people, but who rejected the gospel of Christ or accepted the gospel of Christ after death. They will have terrestrial bodies, and which will be allowed to dwell in Jesus's presence. The third and lowest level, not counting outer darkness, which is literal hell, is the telestial kingdom. There isn't a lot about this kingdom on the church website or in the scriptures too much. Basically, it's where all the really bad people go. People who unalive people who SA people, those kinds of things. So they're the really bad people. They will get to dwell in the presence of the Holy Ghost, but not Christ and not God. So, short little lesson over. Here is my explanation. I decided a long while ago that I don't want to be in the celestial kingdom. I don't really believe these kingdoms even exist, but even on the minuscule chance that they do exist, I don't want to go there. I don't want to be a plural wife. I don't want to spend 1,000 years doing temple work. I don't want to spend eternity producing babies and then not being able to communicate with them. I don't want to live forever with people who behave the way that active current Mormons behave, while excluding people who aren't just like they are. Obviously, I don't want to go to the telestial kingdom either. And herein lies the joke, because the Exmo community says think telestial as a way to acknowledge that we're basically going to hell, according to Mormons, because it's full of, all the really bad people who hurt others. The terrestrial kingdom is without a doubt the absolute best place to go. It's just like Earth here, but all of the ultra good people who spend all of their time harassing us and judging us will be gone to the celestial kingdom to pretend like they're the only ones who exist. And all the awful, gross, terrible people who made Earth miserable will be, and who have abused and traumatized and hurt others, they will all be in the telestial kingdom. So the terrestrial kingdom will be full of all the kind, inclusive, validating, emotionally mature, affirming, and happy people. And that is what sounds like heaven to me. My mom has this saying, and she's pretty famous for. She says, enjoy what you're doing now. She was a preschool teacher for 25 to 30 years or something like that. And the preschool kids were always like really anxious to do the next activity. What would come next? Like, when is the next snack? When is recess? What's the craft today? Those kinds of things. What would come next? And so she would always say, enjoy what you're doing now, to get them to, focus on the task at hand. And having said that about all of that stuff about the Mormon kingdoms in heaven, my creed right now is just to enjoy the here and now, to live as fully as I can. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie About Time. Spoiler alerts. I am going to talk about this movie. I'm going to give some spoilers. So if you haven't seen this movie and you want to, I do recommend it. It's one of my top 5 movies, absolutely, of all time. It's beautiful. If you haven't seen it, maybe fast forward a little bit. I'm going to give us the secret of the movie here. So yeah, but About Time is about this guy who can time travel with his consciousness, basically. And the movie is so touching and amazing. And at the end, his father, who is played by Bill Nye, who is my favorite ever. I just love him so much. He tells him the secret of life is to live each day through once and notice all of the flaws. Feel what you feel, react how you're going to react. And then go back and relive it, knowing what is coming, and then react better. Change it so that you react positively. And it's not like a toxic positivity kind of thing. It's like, acknowledge these things and then be a better person. Be the best person that you can be. Recognize the good. And the end goal is to eventually not need to live the day over ever, because you already do it right in the first place. And this is also my goal. Like, I don't get to relive my life. I don't get to make a mistake and then go into a dark closet and close my eyes and then come back out and I'm back at that time in place. I don't get to do that. And so obviously every day isn't perfect. I don't always react perfectly. I don't always react in a healthy way. But my goal and what I want is this terrestrial life, this terrestrial body to be the best that I can make it. So think of now, enjoy now, think terrestrial and live in this moment. Be conscious of the way that you treat others, how you treat yourself, and do your best to live the best life possible in the best possible heaven, which is the terrestrial kingdom. So let me know your thoughts. Leave a comment, like my status here. And, if you want to send me a message, my email is Brae, BRAE, .wordsofexmormon@gmail.com. If you want to remain anonymous, I would love to hear from you. And, let me know what you think. Thank you so much. Don't forget to think terrestrial, and I'll talk to you later.